Okay, here we are. David Maida presents the legendary Nancy Wilson. It's great to see you, Nancy. You're looking
Hey, David.
marvelous.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it took me hours to achieve. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that-
But yeah, it's good to be here with you. We hung out a little bit at the Carnegie Hall thing, and we wanted to talk some more about Denny, who we're
yeah.
here to, try to support and help out with his show that's coming up on Monday. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So we can start by talking about that. So yes, we worked back on March 15th at the McCartney tribute at Carnegie Hall, which is a spectacular evening to say the least.
Right. The music of Paul McCartney.
Oh man,
It was
obviously.
but it was such a thrilling evening. I mean, it was like nobody knew if Paul was going to be there. I'm wearing my same Paul swag
Ah,
shirt right now.
awesome.
but uh, but nobody knew if Paul was coming or not until later in the evening. It's like, oh my god, oh my god, because I'm a super fan from way back, as well as the Moody Blues, even prior to and during the time that Denny was in the Moody Blues as well. So, there's a great rich history of connection, between Paul McCartney and Denny Lane, and of course Wings, of which Denny was part of. And I saw those guys in Seattle at the Superdome um, before they changed it to another uh, venue. But yeah, seeing Wings and seeing being part of a few songs with Denny Lane at Carnegie Hall was insanely special for me, and do anything for those guys.
Oh,
So
hey, and you did the performance was amazing as you recall. We did the finale with you and Denny and Christopher Cross, and you guys did
oh my
Band
God,
on the Run from Band on the
yeah.
Run '73, and then you guys did
Denny
Love Can Tire.
Denny was so great because he really helped me because I've been doing that song with a teleprompter, but there was no teleprompter. And because some of the Paul McCartney lyrics are quite, I don't know, you might say kind of trippy
Yeah,
and
yes.
not easy to necessarily recall. So, well, there's the cuckoo clock in the background. So, uh, and so he was like, okay, you know, um, Sailor Sam, the Jailer Man and Sailor Sam happens twice in a row in the song. So he really I'll never forget the help he gave. It's like that part happens twice before you do the other one later. So he was really helping me out with the lyrics without the teleprompter. Because sometimes, even in my band Heart, it's like there's like a novel of lyrics to retain. And if you're also playing and doing rocker size or whatever, or dancing around on stage, um, sometimes you're easily distracted. So
Yeah.
from every time I do Band on the Run from here out, it's Denny Lane's voice in my head says, "Jailer Man, Sailor Sam," twice in a row in the song. So thank you, Denny.
Again, I've worked with Denny for so long, and I do like
Yeah,
you wish him, well and on the road to recovery. He's had a rough road, and obviously you mentioned earlier that the big show at the Troubadour is completely sold out this Monday night, 8 o'clock.
yeah,
His band MD Alex Jules put this thing together, and his band will be there with some amazing guests. Denny Sywell from Wings, Lawrence Juber from the Back to Error, Wings, Joey Mullen, Badfinger, Peter Asher, who was at the McCartney
yeah.
tribute.
He was there too that night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark Sturmer from the Killers. I mean, Mickey Dolenz. Like the list is Paul Schaefer. It's an amazing night.
No, I wish I could go. I wish I could go that night and join up and do the jam with those guys because it's always a fun thing. I'm doing one coming up in Arizona for Alice Cooper's
Oh,
Christmas pudding show,
oh
and
yeah.
with Sammy Hagar and a bunch of people. But it's always a fun situation like that where you have other musicians that you're kind of in a similar circle with, and like the guys, like, when we were working at Carnegie Hall, we had, Jordan, or Steve Jordan, I'm sorry, on drums, and Will Lee and those guys. And they're just insanely talented musicians. And you only need one rehearsal. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
these guys know what they're doing.
But
There's,
you did a great job playing and obviously singing, and your vocals were amazing on Band on the Run, which I was there for all the rehearsals, obviously, in both performances, and you did a stellar job. So great. But
well,
we want to say this, that obviously I want to thank you on behalf of you know Denny's wife for the donation for the silent auction for the guitar that you donated. So we want people to bid on that and go to alerttheglobe.com. You'll also be able to watch the show. It's streaming. It's $25 for a ticket. And so obviously if you can't get in the Troubadour, you don't have a ticket. We want you to go to Alert the Globe and buy a ticket and support this
right,
cause for Danny.
right, that's right. And I sent one of my signature Epiphone Gibson Fanatic guitars ahead for the auction, and I signed it, and and I wrote "Love Rules" on the guitar, which
Wow.
which Denny's wife actually posted on Instagram, and I saw later. And her letter that she wrote, she signed off with "Love Rules" because, I'm a kind of a Beatle freak from way back, a flower child, and I yeah, guilty as charged,
Yeah.
and I've always had those slogans, like peace and love rules, and love wins, and love is it. And I'll tell you now more than ever in our distressed our world of craziness right now, it's more important than ever for people like us, for causes like this, in great humanitarian spirit of doing this and the love of doing something like this for Denny Lane, and Paul McCartney's family too,
Sure.
who I know has helped a lot with this cause. Um, it's more important than ever to remember how human we can be and on the same side of the
Yeah.
right stuff.
And again, and I can't thank you enough. And I'll obviously mention Steve Jordan and Alex Jules and everyone else,
Oh
Toby
yeah,
Ledwith, all these people, Christopher Cross. So anyway, please
yeah,
check out Alert the Globe. And I thank you sincerely for, helping out with this. We're halfway there. So I think we're going to do really well after Monday.
yeah. Go Denny,
Yes, we
go.
need to get Denny back with that guitar, playing and singing. I mean, his
Yeah,
the last tour that we did was amazing. This, songs and stories.
I know. I was
Yeah.
watching that online, and it looked really cool because
Oh,
I've
yeah,
been, I love talking about songs on stage. It gives people the context and the landscape and the time and the era, and all the details of how you write that song or how it came about. It's really people when you do that for people on a stage and then you sing the song like Denny was doing. It humanizes everything,
sure.
and if you come away feeling like you already know him and you're already good friends. So yeah,
I mean, Denny, has all these amazing stories because, he's obviously like you and with Hart, he's inducted in the Rock Hall with the Moody Blues. The Moody Blues toured opening for the Beatles. So that's how he was friends with
yeah,
Paul well before Wings. So then,
yeah,
all the Wings era after the Moody Blues, and the stories, and like how many
yeah.
people could say they danced with Judy Garland. That was one of Denny's
Oh wow,
stories, and so many I could go on
that's
and on.
great. Oh
It
wow, wonderful.
but he's such a great songwriter as well, and
Yeah,
instrumentalist. I mean, the guy,
yeah,
like sort of like Sir Paul, sings, writes, plays drums, keyboards, guitar. He's a great percussionist, amazing. So again, we want to wish him a speedy recovery and hope that
yeah.
he gets back on course and is able to play again and
Maybe
get
he could get home for the holidays. That would be
yes for the
extra.
holidays. Yes, let's
Extra
hope.
prayer goes up for that.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. So away from this, you had a busy year this year. After that, you did your own tour, right? You had
Yeah.
that was very successful. I you know, I didn't get a chance to see it live, but I did watch plenty of clips. And you also had
Yeah.
your first solo release that came out,
I
right?
had a solo release a couple of years ago. I've
Yeah,
been
go on.
writing a couple of new songs for a re-release for the solo album with a couple of bonus tracks. And
Okay.
one of those songs I just finished, uh, it turned into a duet with the singer. Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh, love that band.
It's called A Million Goodbyes. It's probably going to come out probably like a standalone song because it turned out really fun and cool with him harmonizing with me. So A Million Goodbyes is something to expect probably early in the year,
Okay.
a duet. And then a couple of other songs, hopefully for a re-release of my You and Me album that came out, my solo album, first ever, that came out a couple of years ago. And so, yeah, I've just been really busy, getting my home studio put together and making new music and, going out doing Christmas shows with the likes of Alice Cooper and Sammy Hagar. and I don't think that'll be any fun, do you?
Yeah, it's no, not at all. There's two, you
I
know,
think I'm gonna
you know.
get to sing Comfortably Numb with Sammy.
Oh, wow,
He's
wow.
really a really great singer. You don't
Oh,
think of him as a great lead singer, but he's such a great singer. So yeah, I always love doing stuff with Sammy and those guys, and so no more power to it. And let's hope you have a great and lots of extra people chipping in to help with the cause, help Denny get home.
yes, 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 and exactly. And then you have your road case management that you started, right?
Oh yeah, we have Madison XOXO, a new artist who's brilliant, singer songwriter. Um, she's got some really cool new music that's coming out, and I'm working with Red Light Management, who manages me
Mhm.
outside of Heart, um, to help with that program. We're getting back into that now that once the holidays are done, we're gonna get back into her material, her new material, and might rebrand her a little bit and get that out early in the year too. But her new stuff's amazing. She's kind of a singer-songwriter from more of a classic rock sort of a with a modern twist. She's
Okay.
very like the new Joni Mitchell.
I was just going
That's
to
like
say
her
that because
thing.
that was
She's
you back in the day, right? You used to play acoustically,
kind of, yeah, kind of a lot of
right?
influence there. Oh, for sure. I mean, try to be a little extra poetic about it all and be rock and be, on the cutting edge of production wise too, for the time when Heart was first new. But yeah, I'm still trying to, do some of that now with the new stuff. And I mean, I guess I don't have any other thing I really know how to do except for music. It's like, well, what happens if you retire? Well, I don't know how to retire because I'm a
Uh,
musician that just wants to play music.
sure.
So I've done score music for film. I've done different, projects. I would love to produce somebody like or co-produce somebody like Madison XOXO for road case management. Um, yeah, and we're
Yeah,
sort of scouting for the next big thing, musically.
yeah, and that's again, and you actually co-produced the last Heart release, correct?
Yeah, with for Beautiful
Beautiful
Broken.
Broken, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
co-produced that because we went back and did a few favorites that were kind of never done as well as, like every musician I think has the same wish on a wish list. Like if I could redo that song someday, and that's what I did on a few of those old, kind of deep cut heart classic, album cut songs, and like Johnny Moon and some other stuff. It was like, oh, I've always wanted it to sound like this. And so it was a real not easy, not, it was a lot of extra money to spend with orchestras and stuff like that, but I think really worth it, because I think songs are the currency and the language that we all speak, and the force in our lives. Songs are the things that get us through.
Sure,
And
sure.
so, being able to work with songs and re-up new old songs into new songs and write new songs and have fun doing covers of songs. I'd love to do a covers album someday.
Ooh,
'Cause there's
wow.
so many great songs that are so meaningful in your life,
Sure.
you know, and
Um,
stuff like "Go Now" from the Moody Blues and stuff like "Pretty Ballerina" from the Left Bank and
yeah,
crazy stuff that you grew up with that you would love to reinterpret. But
yeah,
anyways, it's just I love being in music, and that's what I know. So don't ask me to work at a bank anytime
No.
soon. You know?
Well, you do it well. An amazing guitar player, vocalist, songwriter. I mean, producing stuff, and also I know you're doing Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp again, right, in February in
I
LA
am.
with the
Yes, I
Leo
am.
brothers, Chris Slade, Vinny
I know
Appice.
those. Yeah, I know those guys, and they're really cool people. And the rock camp is always great because I've done a few of them now, and the last one I did was a female specific. It was girl. It was a girl, all girls, and it was fine. But I kind of like the mix it
Sure,
up, you
sure.
know, and get the both sides of get the earth and the sky together at the same time. But yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be like I think it's gonna be like heavy rock riffing kind of thing. And I
That'll
did a
be.
documentary that's just now airing on Air Channel in Europe. It's gonna come to the States called Behind the Riffs.
Oh
And
wow,
it's a really detailed documentary about guitar riffing, about guitar riffs like Barracuda, like various heart riffs that I was part of writing and stuff like that. So that's something to look for coming up in the new year. And yeah, just getting involved with every fun thing I can possibly, spend time doing.
yeah, and I see that there's three heart dates at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, we got
Seattle
four
for New Year's
actually.
Eve, right?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yep, and we've got our fingers crossed for a big world tour. Yeah, coming up. It looks pretty good for a world tour for Heart
Great.
starting in the spring. So
Okay.
I can't broadcast it exactly
Yeah.
yet, but on your podcast, I'll just tell you. Nobody will
Okay.
know.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But so it's
Just
50
won't tell
years, right?
anybody.
It'll
Right.
be out there, but we'll leave it. When the dates get announced, I'm sure everyone will see it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
50 years for the band, right? You guys started in what, 73, right?
Well, the album came out in '75, so
75, right? Dreamboat Annie
yeah,
was 75, right?
Bodani. So I mean, we were in a club band and stuff, but normally they count it from the first release,
Right, right. So
first lineup, and the first release of the first album, and that was 75.
yeah, well, speaking of, I'm in the Philly area. I know in '76 you guys played the Spectrum on that first tour, opening for the
Yeah.
Beach Boys. Some other Wilsons, Brian, Carl, and Dennis. Well, the late Carl and Dennis were on that tour, and that was a big tour for the band with you
Was
and
that
Warren.
75 or 6? Was that 75 or 6?
Six. That was six. Yeah, that was the
Well, that
first tour.
was when the album was brand new, and we were brand new openers for the Beach Boys. We'd
Yes.
never opened a big place like the Spectrum before, and if I recall, it was at the Spectrum that
It
Ann
was.
said, "We have, we have one more song left to go," and everybody went, "Yay!" because they didn't know who we were yet very well.
Sure.
So they wanted us out of there. They wanted to see the Beach Boys. So Anne made the mistake, kind of a fatal opener act mistake of saying, "Yeah, we only have one more song to go." It was like, "Yeah, get them off." But
Uh, that had to be an amazing performance because going back, I think the following year in '77, you came back and played the Tower Theater and had,
yeah,
the Little Queen tour, which that mind
yeah,
blowing. That tour was,
yeah.
they were
Little,
great releases. Dreamboat Annie, magazine,
Little Queen tour,
Little Queen.
we had a prop of a campfire for the mandolin song called "Dream of the
Oh,
Archer,"
love that. Yes, yes.
and so we rolled out like in the dark, we rolled out the campfire, the stage campfire, with flash pots already set up in it.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we started the show with the mandolin intro part, two mandolins, and then when the song kicked in, the flash pots went up, and the lights came up, and we almost singed our hair, like with the flash pots. But there's things are rock shows are a little more safe, like safe and sane more than they
Yes.
can be. But yeah,
Yeah, they were those releases, Dreamboat Annie, Little Queen, Dog and Butterfly. They were, and then you had the Heart '85 album when you guys had like the whole comeback with Ron Nevison, another Philly guy, but you know,
yeah, that's right.
Dan, the legacy is amazing, obviously in the Rock Hall, but you and Ann just wow,
Yeah.
over the top.
It's really cool too because a lot of newer, younger folks are now just getting into heart music. You know, not just the '80s, but the '70s too. And um, you know, in the '90s, we kind of went and did our own thing in the grunge era, but
Sure.
we released a couple more albums that were pretty cool around in the '90s. But there's a lot of fan base that's growing up from that are like the sons and daughters of the original fans that
Uh-huh.
are coming to the shows the last few years, and it was like, wow, there's like a lot of 20 somethings out there this year, you know. It's really cool to see that the songs can imprint and echo forward sort of like that, and be meaningful for new generations.
Sure.
It's like what the whole thing should really be all about. Like that's when you I went and saw Paul McCartney's show on his 80th birthday in San Francisco at
Okay.
Oakland, and he was great. The band was amazing. You know, big flash spots on "Live and Let Die,"
Yes.
like big explosions. We're like, ah! But it was like so wonderful that those songs. I mean, the songs are just such beautiful real estate that are so meaningful to people's lives and the story of our lives and the soundtrack to our lives and the backdrop to our memories. It's like those songs are just they're magical and they heal everyone. You know, when getting like I love Taylor Swift for that reason too because her songs are going to be imprinted for generations because she's a great songwriter and a really good flashy show pony too, as it turns out. But you know, but she's a total rock star. Yeah,
Oh, no doubt. I mean, the tour
yeah,
is amazing, but that's great. So you mentioned a lot of younger fans are obviously finding out about Heart, and then
yeah,
and which is great because the music carries on, and I'm happy to hear that both you and Ann are still obviously delivering.
yeah.
It's going to be amazing tour next year, no
Yeah,
doubt.
we're kind of like, what kind of a song set would that be like? And
Ooh, wow.
we're just like, you know, having fun thinking about it real seriously right now.
Well, I have to mention one of my favorite tracks is "Cook with Fire."
Oh,
I melted the vinyl down like with that track over and over and over and over
good,
and
good
over and over.
live. The live version on that was
Yes,
really good.
right.
From the
Dog and Butterfly, right?
Greatest Hits live version is really good.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a live. I think it starts with that live version of that song too. It's good.
okay, great track.
I
So
like that song. Yeah.
okay, but so that, like I said, a lot to look forward to in 2024, Nancy. And again, we want everyone to go to Alert the Globe for Denny's streaming show Monday. And I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I hope I get a chance to see you in person on the tour dates next year somewhere. New York City,
Yeah.
Philadelphia would be great.
Yeah. We're talking about Madison Square.
Oh,
So
wow. Wow,
yeah,
great. Well,
pretty good. Looking pretty good. Yeah.
okay. Well, I wish you well and have a wonderful.
Thanks,
I know
Dave.
you had a great Thanksgiving, so I wish you a happy
Yeah,
holidays.
we did. I'm still full. Yeah, two
Uh,
days later.
the tryptophan, but it's
Yeah, I just woke up. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. It's great to be on your show. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me. All
Keep
right.
rocking.
Okay. We love Danny. Take
Yes,
care. All
Danny.
right.
Be well. Take care,
Well,
Nancy.
Andy.
Bye now.